Hey everyone, it's Kelsey. So as you can tell, I've got some new hair going on. I've got like a big blonde streak right here. I know it kind of looks a little weird right now, but I was just kind of experimenting with it and everything, seeing if I could still do like a pompadour and it'd still look kind of cool. I kind of like it. I kind of like the way it looks, but mainly I just got it in this little piece because whenever I swoop my bangs over, you can like see the blonde peeking out through the brown. So I got her to recut it and do it like a really dark brown, kind of like a level 3 or a 4. So I'm really loving my hair right now. I think it's really edgy. I feel like it really just kind of goes with my personality. You know, I still like the edginess, but I still kind of like the classic, like my style's kind of eclectic and whatever. So anyway, to get to the point of this video, I'm going to be reviewing a foundation that I really have been enjoying since I've been using it, and it is the Chanel Perfection Lumiere Foundation. So first of all, I want to just kind of go all over the spectrum about this foundation. I really like it. Before I started wanting to buy this foundation, I did my research on it because it is quite expensive. I think it's about $55 here in the US. I'm not really sure what it is in UK or other countries, but here it is $55. And that's pretty expensive for a foundation. I mean, that's a pretty damn good investment. So if you're thinking about buying a foundation that's rather expensive, you want to be sure that one, it's going to do exactly what you need it to do for your skin type. Two, you want to make sure it's the right color because you don't want to take a chance of it being too dark or too light in certain different lighting areas. And three, you want to, you know, see about staying power, because I think that all of us want a long wearing foundation. I mean, who wants to have to reapply foundation after just a few hours? So anyway, my point is, if you're going to buy an expensive foundation, be sure to do your research on it first. So with that, when I was doing my research, I read a lot about it. I watched reviews on it here on YouTube, and it's kind of the same lines along with the NARS Sheer Matte Foundation, which is another one of my favorite foundations. The reviews, a few were good, some of them were bad, but they were mostly just kind of They were kind of, you know, in between. So against that, I decided to purchase this anyway. Initially, when I wanted a Chanel foundation, I was looking at the Matte Perfection. I think that's what's, no, Matte Lumiere. Sorry, Matte Lumiere. And the color selection was kind of lacking. Even the lightest color, it was still a little too dark for me. I'm a lot lighter than I thought I would be. So it kind of bummed me out that I couldn't get the Matte Lumiere. So I started looking at the Perfection Lumiere. I've been watching videos from the UK, and so far the Matte Lumiere has been discontinued along with the Pro Lumiere. So if you know anything about those two foundations, they're completely different. The Matte Lumiere, of course, is for a mattifying foundation, you know, no shimmer whatsoever. The Pro Lumiere is more for dry skin types that want that nice luminous finish. So to kind of replace both of those, Chanel came up with Perfection Lumiere, which is kind of strange. I was really intrigued by that, because how are you going to replace two different foundations that are so completely opposite of each other? But I think Chanel did a really good job with this. Now I will talk about this some more. So first of all, I want to talk about the packaging. It's got a nice kind of a frosted glass bottle. It's got, the top is plastic, has the Chanel logo on top and everything. The back of it says how to apply everything, and then the bottom shows your color. This has an SPF of 10 in it, which is a pretty low SPF and that's better for flash photography. I haven't actually tried this foundation with flash photography, so I'm not really sure if it does create the white cast on your face, but I've tried this out in different lightings and it lasts really, really well. So you pop the cap off, and then you've got this nice little pump here, and it actually pumps them out the best amount of product. I usually have to use maybe 2 to 3 pumps, usually about 2.5. So that's basically what I use. It comes with 1 fluid ounce of product, which I have found is pretty normal among different foundations that I've tried. They usually come in 1 ounce. The color that I have is number 12, Beige Rose. They have 4 different color families. They've got Beige Rose, Beige, Amber Rose, and Amber, Ombre, however you say that, I'm not really sure. So it's pretty easy to find your right color. I think they come in about 20 shades, so it's, like I said, it's kind of easy to find your color. They may not have the whitest white or the darkest dark, but anywhere in between there you should be able to find your pretty nice color. Okay, so the first week that I tried this, whenever I first start trying foundations, I want to see exactly how they work by themselves, meaning that I'll just use my regular moisturizer, maybe not a primer or anything like that. So I tried it, and the first day that I tried it, it was awful. I will admit that. This product by itself for me does not work well at all. Within 2 hours, literally, it was coming off, my skin was shiny, it was just looked like I had thrown some oil on my face. It was awful. However, I started trying to kind of experiment with the different mattifying products that I have. I've got several of them. I've got, for instance, my Estee Lauder Matte Perfecting Primer. I've just recently gotten the Urban Decay De-Slick Oil Control Setting Spray. Is this lighting weird? Oh well, I'm talking about a product, so who cares? And I've also tried the Philips Milk of Magnesia. So with that, I tried to kind of use all 3 of those in different ways to see which way is best for me. The best way for the most long-wearing use of this foundation is the Milk of Magnesia. This works the best, and I found this works the best for mattifying anyway. Just little heads up, but I have really oily skin, so if you've got kind of combination oily skin, using the Matte Perfecting Primer or the De-Slick may work just fine for you. So just kind of experiment around, see what works best for your skin, and you might find your perfect match with this. Anyway, back to the foundation. So after I started using all 3 of those, it helped a lot. I would say when I'm using the Milk of Magnesia, this foundation can last about 8 to 12 hours, I would say. After that, my skin starts getting a little oily and everything, so it does start to come off. But after 8 to 12 hours, you know, you kind of expect that to happen. But it's really, really hot outside right now. It is the hottest that it's probably, I'm hoping that it's gonna get. And my skin is just on oil overload. It is awful. So I've been using the Milk of Magnesia. Anyway, upon applying this foundation, I found that this foundation is completely different from any other kind that I've ever used. If you've watched my videos, you know that I love good full coverage matte foundations, meaning that they're really thick, they go on pretty heavy on the face, which is fine with me because I love full coverage. And you have to work fairly quickly with them because they tend to dry very quickly. So if you've never used a matte foundation, be sure to expect that if you apply it, you need to work within sections of your face because it does dry very quickly. But the reason I say this is so different is because when you put this on, it feels really kind of lightweight, like it'd be a sheer coverage foundation, and I don't know, it feels so different. So I was kind of intrigued by that as well, because the matte Lumiere has the same kind of consistency to it. It is a true liquid foundation, but it goes on so silky. It really does feel like it'd be a light coverage foundation, but surprisingly it's a full coverage, or I would say medium to full coverage. So yeah, and as far as coverage goes, this foundation is really, really buildable. You can sheer it out if you want to. You can use like one pump and just use it all over your face, and it'd probably have the effect of a BB cream or a tinted moisturizer, just for a little light coverage to even out the skin tone a bit. Or if you're having some problems with really red blotchy spots like I do most of the time, you can use about 2 pumps. Or if you're just really wanting that full perfect coverage, you're going clubbing, going out for a night, for a date, whatever, you can use 3 pumps. So I really like how this foundation is so easy to work with, and you can kind of custom make it for your skin needs. And I've actually found with some foundations, they say sheer buildable coverage, stuff like that. Sometimes whenever you apply it and then you want to go in and apply a little more in certain areas, it can kind of look a little cakey and kind of gross. But this foundation doesn't do that. This foundation really does make your skin look perfect. There's a little booklet that comes with this foundation that kind of tells you about it and everything, but I don't know where it is, so I can't really read off all the specifications on it for you. One thing that I've heard a lot of people complain about with this foundation is the smell. I personally love the smell. I have a very sensitive nose. I can't hear for nothing, I can't hardly see, but I can smell anything. And this foundation has just the nicest floral scent to it. It is absolutely lovely. But if you do get headaches from certain smells, you may want to get a little sample of this first, which go to the Chanel counter. The ladies there are so nice, and they would be more than happy to give you a sample. And it's actually a decent amount of product. So you can probably get maybe 2 to 3, maybe even 4, depending on how much coverage you want, uses out of the samples. So I would highly recommend doing that. I would recommend, if you're not sure of your exact color, to go ahead and get maybe 2 or 3 colors. That way you can kind of see which one works better in which light. You may have to mix foundations. Not every foundation is perfect for a certain person. Sometimes you need to get 2 to blend them together and everything, which can get expensive, but you kind of got to do what you got to do. Also, if you have a foundation that matches your skin tone perfectly, like I do with the NARS Sheer Matte, I just took the bottle up there with me and kind of just put a little on my hand, and then did a couple of drops of the different colors of the Chanel one, and found my perfect shade in the Chanel. So those are kind of easy ways to figure out your exact match. Also, the ladies that work at the makeup counter, they're pretty good, they're pretty professional with trying to find your perfect color. You also have to keep in mind that the lighting in the department store is going to be completely different than in the sunlight and under different types of lighting. You know, there's soft lighting, there's harsh lighting, everything. So what I would recommend is go get color matched yourself by one of the ladies at the makeup counter. Go outside for a little while, see if it oxidizes on you and all that stuff before you actually make a decision, because like I said, buying a foundation like this is an investment. So you want to be sure that it's something that you're going to love, something that looks really great on you. Now, after all that, this foundation does not oxidize on me. I have never experienced problems with it getting darker throughout the day, so that's one thing I really love about this foundation. It's also, I've heard from some YouTube gurus that they think it is a little too matte and it makes their face look kind of flat. I haven't experienced that problem, but I really love matte foundations. Like I've always said, I would rather have a matte foundation, and then if I want to add a little shimmer in certain areas, I can do that with like my NARS Copacabana multiple, which is just a really nice highlighter. Or you can use whatever highlighter you want. But what I want out of my foundation is something that's going to be long wearing, matte, and just doesn't look cakey, that looks like my skin but better. And I have actually gotten that out of this foundation. If you have any questions about this foundation or any comments or anything like that, please leave them in the below bar. I think I've kind of covered everything. I don't know, I really have enjoyed using this foundation, and I will definitely continue to use this. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was very informative. If I forgot anything, be sure to ask. If you have any questions about it, like I said, just leave them in the comment section, and I usually try to, oh, one thing, sorry, complete cutoff. One thing that I have found, this foundation is easy to apply in any way. I forgot about this, using tools. So I've tried most recently this brush. This is how I applied it today. I really like the way this brush applies the foundation. It's got the nice big dense bristles. This is actually the EcoTools bronzing brush, but I use this for foundation. This is one of my favorite techniques for applying foundation. I have made a foundation video using this, and I can't remember how far back it is, but I think it was my last foundation routine where I showed that I used this as a buffing brush technique. I also found that applying it with a foundation brush works really well. I generally hate these, but it works so well applying it with a foundation brush. This is one of the first techniques I used when I started using this foundation, and it works amazingly well. I also really like applying it with the Beauty Blender. It works really well as well. I'm saying well too much. Anyway, the Beauty Blender applies it just really nicely, and you can actually use you can actually use less product when applying it with this foundation sponge. I have tried the stippling brush technique. I don't really like it as much when I'm using this foundation, so I would say the best way to apply this would be a foundation brush, a Beauty Blender, or a buffing brush. And I also really like using my fingers too, but using the fingers, you kind of get the streaks, and I don't really like applying it with my fingers because, I don't know, I just don't like the feel of foundation all in my fingers and stuff. Then you have to go wash your hands and everything. And so yeah, those are the ways that I like to apply this foundation the best, but I can apply it with my fingers and it looks really nice. So it's very easy to blend out everything. It doesn't wipe off really easily. So now I'm going to finish this video after I talked about that. I think I covered everything. But anyway, if I did miss anything, just let me know. I am rambling so bad. Bottom line, I love this foundation. I've had to work with it, but it has been an amazing investment in my makeup collection. I will continue to use this, and I would definitely recommend it to you guys. I would definitely buy another bottle of it. So basically, I have fallen in love. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will be having more videos coming up, more reviews, hopefully a tutorial or two. So anyway, be sure to subscribe to my channel to see all the fun stuff I have coming up. So thanks again. I'll see you guys later. Bye.